we're back. We're back with another show. And I'm so excited to introduce you to my guest. Some would say this is an old school show. It all depends how old you are. That's the thing. But before we do anything, do me a favor, subscribe and share the link. Subscribe to the channel, the D Channsin Berry on YouTube program. Subscribe and share, please. So, how do I introduce my first two guests? Icons in R&B and pop music from the late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They transcend all of that. Pop, R&B, and soul. First on the list, lead singer of, I'm going to show you the album. Friends of Distinction. His name is Harry Elston. Harry, thank you for coming to the show, sir.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Harry, lead singer of Friends of Distinction. My second is my homie from Jersey, by way of North Carolina.
Yep.
By way of North Carolina.
Wow.
His name is Gerald Alston, lead singer of the Manhattans.
Oh, boy.
Lead singer of Manhattans. So, gentlemen, as they say back in the day, us got a lot to discuss.
Oh, yeah.
True that.
Yes.
So, thank you for coming.
Thank you for
Thank you
having me.
for coming.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
First of all, how did you two meet along the road of success here?
God, we toured so many times together. I can't say the first gig, you know.
Really?
But we worked together many, many, many times. When Harry walked in, I said, I know who that is. And you had already told me,
Right.
but I wasn't relating the name to Harry. And then we walked in, I looked in his face, and I said, I know this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry, do you remember the first time you met the Manhattans?
No, because see, we worked for a Pacific Concert Group, Alan Beck, and it was like a cattle call. So
Yeah.
if they was rehearsing, we was sitting and waiting for our little turn, and we was quiet. But I saw these guys, and I loved them, of course. And so I would say at least 15 years, you know.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
My goodness. So, Gerald, when did you join the Manhattans?
I joined the Manhattans. I'm going to give you the exact date. October 21st, 1970.
October 21st, 1970, you
Yes.
joined the Manhattans.
I met them. They performed at my school 2 days prior, and they used my sound equipment. I had a band called Gerald Alston and the New Imperials. And my college professor, English professor, asked me if they could use my sound system. They heard me sing. They came in, had me open the show, took my number, my name and number, and that following week, they flew me to Dallas, Texas, and I watched them perform with the Supremes for 10 days. And
With the Supremes for 10 days?
yeah, it was Gene Terrell and the Supremes. And oh my God, it was awesome. It was awesome. That was my first time ever seeing the Supremes, but they were bigger than life. It was awesome.
Even without Diana?
Yes. Gene Terrell did a rendition.
Up the ladder to the roof. They didn't do that together? Up the ladder to the roof.
I remember that song.
I think,
Yeah, I remember the
I think
song.
they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she did People.
The Streisand people.
People who needs people. Oh my God, did she do that song?
Wow.
I'll never forget it. And believe me, I haven't heard anybody sing it that way.
Wow.
And she was awesome. The whole group, the Supremes, were awesome.
So, Harry, how did you form this group called the Friends of the Distinction? Because I know there were some other people involved in this also.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna see them shortly.
Okay.
Yeah. We had this group called the Hi-Fis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we recorded for Ray Charles, the first artist on his Tangerine label.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. With Joe Adams and Jeff Brown. All when I see the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and see, we were right in the middle of that,
Mm-hmm.
and Jamie, he had Ray down somewhere.
Didn't he?
Oh man,
Ooh.
Jamie Foxx
Jimmy Fox.
playing Ray Charles. Yeah.
I'll show you. I was up there last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a documentary, and so they wanted Billy. You know Billy Osborne.
Yes.
Yeah, Billy was a band leader. Was our band leader.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hopping around. But I turned Billy on to Ray,
Mm-hmm.
and he wrote songs down there for 20 years.
Mm.
And so Valerie runs the place now, and she said, "Come on down here. I got some money for you." And I said, "Yeah." So I went down and did an interview and stuff, and she gave us some, nice,
Mm-hmm. Nice piece of change.
nice piece of change, because
Mhm.
people don't be paying you. But getting back to your question, I'm from San Diego, and Floyd Butler. Floyd passed away. I was just telling him about Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd sang "Going in Circle." Now, see, I'm not the lead singer. I don't. Floyd and Jessica, they sing me under the ground.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
You did, but you when you get in the group, you got to know your spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
you might not be the best singer, you might not be the best dancer, but the girls like you.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa. So anyway, so Floyd lived in San Diego, and I was up here. I moved back from Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in Berkeley on Baker Street.
I know it well.
And I had some friends up there. You probably knew them.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Brown.
Charles Brown?
Yeah, Charlie Brown. Really? You know Charlie caught the bus, right?
Yeah, I know he caught the bus. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Mel Blair?
caught the bus. It's one of my best friends.
Mm.
Golly. All right, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, Mel Blair.
Okay.
Bless his heart.
All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's my name?
Hey, there's a lot of that going around these days.
Oh, yeah.
Especially over this side of this shit right here.
But anyway, so hey, we had this group. Actually, there was a group in San Diego. I really started out with Johnny Otis. Y'all remember Johnny
Oh,
Otis?
yeah, Johnny Otis, yeah.
Yeah, and Etta James and all those people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We had a group called Sel Foster and the Audios.
Mm-hmm. And the audios?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's on.
Well, you guys made a couple of 45s, right?
Yeah. We had four.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. And I was like 17 years old, man. And so we did these little tours with Johnny Otis. And so then we split San Diego, and I was in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And I got kicked out of the Air Force, so I stayed up in Oakland with my daddy, Willie Mays.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we moved down here, and Lamont McLemore.
Lamont. Yeah.
Fifth Dimension,
Yeah.
photographer,
Yeah.
Jet Magazine.
Yep.
I'll say no more.
So Lamont, we go to these parties, and you see the cat, who is that dude over there? They all doo-wopping,
Mhm.
big time.
Mhm.
They said, "Man, you doo-wop?" Yeah. We go out in the car and do what we did and doo-wop. So he said, "Well, come by my house." Blah blah blah. So I came by his house, and we called the house Hobo Flats.
Hobo Flats.
Hobo Flats.
Mhm.
And Hobo Flats was the place. Like you mentioned, all the photographers and all this stuff.
Right,
And Jim was my manager.
right.
And he was still playing football. And he was a hound and we was a hound. So, and then when the beauty pageant was over, the after party was at our apartment. Did I say more?
Say no more. I wish I was there.
So anyway, then Marilyn, Florence was there, Marilyn was there, Big Ron was there, Lamont was there, and some other people. And we would kind of like, hey, you sing with this group and we go do a party somewhere. And then you sing, next weekend you might sing with another group. We didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so when we got Ray heard about us, and
The high fives.
high fives,
Mhm.
and so we came down for our audition. I'll never forget it. Ray was doing his thing there, and farting and shooting and doing.
Shoot.
Ray, we like this, you know.
Right.
But Ray was so cool with us.
Mm-hmm.
He treated us with the utmost respect.
Mhm.
If Ray respects you, you know, musically or any, he's cool. I never had nam problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, that group, the High Fives, and we sang for a couple of years. Then we split,
Mm-hmm.
and we went on to form the Friends of Distinction.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamont and Marilyn went on and did the Fifth Dimension, and we still buddies to this day.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I know.
And Lamont is doing. 2 weeks ago, his wife Mieko called me, and we thought he was on that bus.
Mm-hmm.
He had another stroke on the right side.
Wow.
Yep. And but hey, he made it through, and he's in rehab now.
Okay.
About 6 weeks.
We'll send prayers up for
Yeah.
Lamont.
Okay. And anyway, so we became the friends. They became the Fifth. We still buddies to this day. I love Marilyn and Billy, you know, and I'll get into another part of it.
Yeah, they're on the show next week.
Oh, all right.
Billy and Mary?
Billy and Marilyn on the show.
Marilyn,
The Fifth
yeah.
Dimension on the show
Yeah.
next week.
Wow.
Yeah. So, there's so many memories, and I hate to live in the past,
Mm-hmm.
but some of them was just so good.
Oh, man.
And that's like, you know what? I'm going through picking out records, picking out albums from my collection. I had like over 6,000 albums in my collection. But by the time I got to California, I was down to 4. By the time I got married, I was down to 3. So, but this is what I had left. But, Gerald, I want to talk to you about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Take this out.
Wow.
So I'm going to tell you where I got that from. Somebody that we both know. I hope you remember. Mike Bernardo.
Yes. Yes. I remember Mike very well.
Yeah, Mike Bernardo. She was
awesome.
integral
Yes.
in getting records and relationships in New York around the tri-state area, promotion. And she was a lady that took care of business.
Yes,
Okay.
she did. Yes,
She was no joke.
Yes, she did.
And she played with cats that didn't play at all.
Boy.
Yeah, but yes. So Mike had gotten me that album, and I was in radio at the time doing that. But what can you say about this album and the recording of this album?
Boy, There's No Good in Goodbye. That was written by Teddy Randazzo.
Mm.
And Teddy wrote for Imperial.
Right.
And I remember when I went to get that song, this always sticks out to me. I went to Teddy's house up in Nyack, and when I walked into his living room, he had strings and horns, and he had turned his garage into a studio booth, the studio room, control room. And he came in and he had talked to me about this song, how he wanted it sung, how I should approach it. And he did the track as I was sitting there. And he had me put my vocal on it. And I took it to California to give to Bobby Martin because we recorded this at Total Experience.
Wow.
Here in L.A.
Yep. And I gave it to Bobby. Bobby said, well, what do they want me to do with this? It's already recorded. He said, there's nothing else I can do. He was supposed to do the arrangement and, everything. But he said, no. He said, no arrangement. No arrangement is needed. And we ended up using he did the arrangement over again, but he did the same arrangement that Teddy Randazzo did. And this is one of my favorite songs. And I remember recording. It's so fun. I can remember recording where I was when I recorded all these songs.
Wow.
There's No Good in Goodbye was at Total Experience. Then You Can Tell Me Goodbye was at Sigma Sound.
In New York or Philly?
Philly, 212. Tomorrow was in, I think it was 212 or either New York, CBS. You know, Share My Love, Share My Life. That was New York. Am I Losing You was New York.
I love Am I Losing You.
Yeah.
I love that cut.
And You're My Life by Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
That song, oh my God. We wanted that song to be a single.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, CBS wanted us to stay R&B group,
Mm-hmm.
and they kept us there. But that was a great song,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But this is a beautiful, beautiful album. I remember Everybody Has a Dream. Billy Joel recorded it first.
Mm-hmm.
And Moving we did for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we had fun doing this in Germany. We was in Gießen when we did the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And we recorded it here. And I think we did some more recording in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a very, very good album. And the sad part about it, it didn't get the play that I liked, that we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we had we were trying to gather our albums together that we recorded at CBS.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't remember this one.
CBS didn't remember this?
They said, "Oh, you don't have an album for '78." I said, "Oh, yes,
Yes,
we
you do."
And I sent them the album, the name of the album with the number, and then they, "Oh, it's in our safe." You know, like they send the masters to Albany. They had a place in Albany, and that's when they found that we had this album.
Wow.
There's no me, there's no you.
There's no good and goodbye.
There's no good and goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember this album. This was one of my favorite, my all-time favorites.
So Harry, I want to go to you on this one. Can you tell me about that?
New York, New York. This is Central Park. And this album here, in terms of me liking it or appreciating it, I know how you feel. And but a lot of people, this is their favorite album.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, well, let me check this out. Then Charlene Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Charlene took Barbara's place. We were on a promotional tour, and Barbara was pregnant. Little stomach. Matter of fact, you can see it on this cut here. But she had to go home, you know, and we needed a girl, you know. So we were on the road, you know, and we got, the record is doing pretty good, and we got to find a girl. So we auditioned Charlene in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Charlene tore it up. Lover, Let Me Be Lonely.
Mm-hmm.
A song called Crazy Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And some other things. Mm-hmm. But she musically, she fit right in. Mm-hmm. Now, the other part, that's a whole nother story. Mm-hmm. Gibby was a gangster.
Gibby?
That's what we call her, Gibby.
Oh, Gibby. Okay.
And Gibby, it's in the book, so I can tell you now, but she left us high and dry on the road. You on tour? Mm-hmm. We had about 4 gigs left. Looked up, she gone. Wow. She went to her woman in L.A. Mm-hmm. And of course I didn't understand it back then. Mm-hmm. I understand a little bit more now, but you didn't have to leave us out there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I haven't spoken to her since.
Really?
Nope. I heard she lives in France. I don't know, but Cat was doing an interview the other day. He said, if she called you, would you speak to her? I said, yeah, sure, I'd speak to her, you know. Mm-hmm. But I'm still pissed.
Yeah, I'm still pissed.
But this album here was cool. It did pretty good. And it's funny because the cover, I always thought that was weird. Mm-hmm. But people, there's a book called Soul and Funk or something, and they use the cover. They use this album cover. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah. So
I remember that very
Real
well.
Friends.
Yeah.
Real Friends. Did you have any favorite songs on there, or did you?
Well, of course, Crazy Mary. It Don't Matter to Me. Mm-hmm. Now, that song there, they said it was originally recorded a group called Bread.
That's right. It don't matter to me.
David Gates.
Yeah.
And
One of my favorite pop groups.
oh, yep. And plus, his wife worked at RCA,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a receptionist down there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it. All I know, she was fine,
Mm-hmm.
and I was hitting.
Oh Lord.
And she kindly put me in my place.
Yeah.
She said, "Harry, I'm married to such and such and such. I know how you guys are." I said, "Oh, okay." But no, it don't matter to me.
Great song.
Oh, now there's a song here called "My Mind Is a Camera," and we did that for Lamont.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh
did-
yeah, as a photographer. Yeah.
Yep. And some country and westerns. We were experimenting with music on this album here,
Mhm.
and we had pretty much free reign, at RCA
Mhm.
with Jim. Now Jim didn't he didn't get into our music business.
Now,
But
let me just stop you. People, when he's talking about Jim, he's talking about the Jim Brown. The Jim Brown. Proceed,
Okay.
Professor.
And what's my name? But JB, he was instrumental, very instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, we were blessed in this respect because, see, when people came to fill in for somebody or take somebody's place,
Mm-hmm.
they had a hit song to sing,
Mm-hmm.
And it's because the egos, that egos get in the way.
Yeah.
But say, hey, you sing this song, and you sing that song, and they were cool because they were hit songs,
Mm-hmm.
And so that was cool. So we had Jessica. Jessica was 17 years old when we met her.
Talking about Jessica Cleave.
Jessica Cleave, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And her mom was a librarian
Mm-hmm.
at LA High School. And so her mom, you can't go with them gangsters.
Calling you guys gangsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, my child out there with them gangsters.
But Meryl's mama said the same thing.
Marilyn's mother said the same thing?
Yeah. But anyway, hey, this was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few more after this. I don't know how many.
Mm-hmm.
But this is that.
Okay. All right. Am I Losing You?
Wow.
Gerald,
Yeah.
can you talk about that for a minute?
Am I Losing You? That song touched my heart the first time I heard it. And,
Amens. Amens.
Barbara brought the tune. She had written it. I forgot the gentleman that wrote it with her.
Mm-hmm.
And but he had done the demo. And we recorded that at the CBS studio on 52nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember recording that song like yesterday.
Mhm.
And such a beautiful song. Your arms don't go around me
Yeah, man.
when I reach out to you, and your
Mhm.
eyes don't hold a fire like they once used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Such a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And I think I if I'm correct, I think I did that song in one take.
Mm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
One take.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it was the engineers were Bert and Harry.
Mm-hmm.
They were the engineers. I didn't know their last name, but they were the engineers.
Bert and Harry.
Yeah.
Not like Bert and Ernie, but Bert and Harry.
Bert and Harry.
Okay.
And they were doing the engineering on that.
Okay.
But that is a hell of a song.
It is one hell of a
Oh
song.
my God.
From the day that song, I got the record, I played that song in my home and on the radio.
Wow. You know, even to this day, we get a great reaction to that song when we perform it.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to get a good reaction from that song. We'll get to other songs too, but that song had legs.
Yeah.
It had legs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Harry, you got me going in circles.
Ooh.
Man, I could throw this phone about that song. How did that happen? Where did it happen?
Jerry Peters,
The Jerry Peters.
DJ Peters, Anita Poirier. they wrote Anita, Keep on Trucking, Boogie Down, Eddie
Yeah.
Kendricks, Circles, I Really Hope You Do. And she was fine, too. Anita was fine.
You seem to run into some fine women, Harry.
I'm listening to that.
Yeah, I'm listening to that. So there seems to be a common thread, brother. It's like, obviously, me and Gerald were in the wrong place.
Right.
I say, wow.
Well,
Oh, God.
But yeah, so it came from Anita and Jerry and Skip Scarborough, and
Skip Scarborough.
Scarborough.
see, a lot of people don't know it or don't realize it, but we were responsible. We were responsible for a lot of people working. You dig? And I didn't think about it then, because see, Jessica and Jerry and Anita, they had a little network at the School of Arts, Music School of Arts, and Jerry would tell me. Matter of fact, Jerry called me the other day. He says he wants to go to the spot and record, and where he wrote the lyrics to the song. He said, "Hey, I want you to come on." I said, "Okay," but they did it, and then Skip. You remember the song? Don't ask my neighbor.
yes, of course.
Well, see,
The emotions.
The emotion.
Yeah.
Well, see, that song started at my house.
Really?
Yes. It's like you know how it is when you jamming, and you don't think about no lyrics right then. You did. But when I heard it on the radio, I said, "Hey," I said, "Oh shit!" I mean, shoot.
It's all right. We speak French.
Okay, and I said, "Wait a minute. Those aren't the words I wrote." You did, and I didn't get not a credit for it. You did, and I learned my lesson. You know, now some people might have said the same thing about me. You know, but I learned.
You learned.
And so Jerry Peters, Nita Parade, Greg Parade, David Crawford, they had a network. You know, when I heard you say a Total Experience, now did you the one on Hollywood? The studio in Hollywood?
He was right on the corner.
Yeah. Capitol buildings, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But we were kind of sheltered. You did. When our producer and arranger, his name, he just died last year. His name was Ray Cork Jr. Now Ray did all of the arrangements for Circles and Grazing in the first album. Clarence McDonald.
That's right, Clarence.
And but Ray, he caught the bus last year, and I messed around and didn't get a chance to holler at him. I learned my lesson. But see, and we didn't know Ray, we didn't know John Flores. They were all from Phoenix, and they came in there, and we didn't know what to expect. And them boys got to making them arrangements, and them, what the hell? Yeah, so that's how that got started.
Okay.
Well, before you go any further, I got a story about You Got Me Going in Circles.
Yeah.
Well, we had put this Carlis Bell.
Yeah, Cool's brother.
Yeah. We put this group together. It was a combination. We were the Manhattans, Soul Generation, Ray Goodman and Brown.
Soul Generation.
Yeah. And we recorded
Circles.
Going in
The
Circles.
Oh my God.
Yep.
All three of you guys?
Yep.
All three
We
groups?
did it together. We did a whole album. And Carlis, we never got it. He was trying to get a deal with it. We did that. And Oh What a Night by the Dells.
Sure.
But we were just singing our group songs of our favorite groups.
Sure.
And he never got it. First of all, Carlis was slow. He liked to mix and mix and mix.
Right.
But he was great at it.
Yes.
And but we never got the deal. And I don't have any of those tapes.
Wow.
Unfortunately, he passed away.
Cool might have them.
Cool, you're right. I'll ask Cool.
Yeah, Cool might have those
Yeah.
tapes because that's musical history
Yeah,
that should be, rebirthed.
yeah. And we had actually finished it.
Because that's something that will never happen again.
Mm-hmm.
All three groups like that?
Yeah, all three of us together recorded it. And
Good Lord.
we did If You Don't Know Me by Now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Harold of the
Harold
Melvin.
Melvin and
Harold
Bruno.
of the Melvin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were just covering songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, oh gosh, I remember that like yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love Talk.
Gosh,
Mhm.
this was in Philadelphia. Jesus, After You, Love Talk, Right Feeling at the Wrong Time, Alan Felder, Blue Road, Love Talk. We covered After You, Devil in the Dark, Alan Felder. Here Comes the Hurt. Oh my God. It's
Memories.
Memories. That's not part of the show. That was Sonny Bivens. Oh God, The Way We Were, Memories. Yes, I remember this very well. In Philadelphia, we used to go to Philly and we would record. There were so many artists that were recording there. We'd have to do 4 or 5 songs, rhythm tracks.
Mm-hmm.
We go in like this month and record 5 rhythms. Then we go in maybe 6 weeks later and do the other 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd come back and start doing vocals. That's how many artists that was recording there at the time.
Is it Sigma Sound? Or?
Yeah, Sigma Sound.
Mm-hmm. In Philly.
And I think, I know one of my favorites was After You, Devil in the Dark, Here Comes the Hurt Again.
Yeah.
Boy. Ronaldo, I think, what's his name? Trying to see the producer on here. What's Ronaldo's? He's just a string man.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of his last name. But he did a couple arrangements on here as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this album,
Did Charles Veal ever work with you?
Charles,
Veal?
no, not that I
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But
right.
this was one of my. This is another. We had so many songs, man, and I could sit here and pick different ones as my favorite all day.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line is that we sold albums. We were an album selling group.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we would sell anywhere to 350 to 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And we recorded every 18 months.
Wow.
And so a lot of our albums, even though like Kiss and Say Goodbye, Shining Star, Love Songs were some of the big songs from that, different stations played 4 or 5 cuts from the album.
That's right.
In their regular
Yeah.
rotation,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and there were so many songs. We're going to Brampton in August, and the promoter sent me a list of songs that they like in Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the songs she sent, I texted her back and said, "We sing this in the show." She had one song that we did called "I'm Not a Runaround"
Mm-hmm.
that I wrote with Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
But every song she named, we do in the show. And we were in Pittsburgh last week, and they were hollering out songs to sing, and the band played it, we sang it.
Wow.
You know,
Call outs.
yeah. But this album, oh my God, we objected to the cover at first, not because of beautiful lady, but we wanted our picture, so
they put you guys on the back.
Put us on the back.
Put the Browns on the back. Put the brothers on the back. Girl on the front.
I remember taking this picture.
Wow.
Gosh. And it's Harry and I was talking. All 3 of these guys have passed away, and they passed away within 60 days of themselves, of each other. And but they were my mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Harry,
Yes, sir.
this is your greatest hits.
Oh, this one here.
When was the last time you seen that?
1932.
So let's get to Grazing.
Great.
Grazing in the Grass. Grazing. First done by Hugh Masekela.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then here come lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Here come a story from Friends of Distinction. How did that happen? You had something to do with this.
Yeah, yeah. It was like we'll be on the bus with Ray, and I would see these cows eating and shitting, and I said they got it made. He did. So I would kind of piecemeal. I'm not a songwriter, okay, but I kind of pieced the little story together, and then one day I kind of got it halfway together, and so I wanted to make a demo. So like I said, Clarence McDonald was working with us, and so we went in the studio, and I had named it "Flaking in the Grass."
Flaking?
Flaking, you know, like you're a flake. And it's get out of here with that flaking stuff.
I thought that meant something else. That's where my mind was going. I'm sorry. I'm from Newark.
Duh. But anyway, so they said, no, you can use. No, they said, get out of here with that. I said, okay. I tucked my tail between my legs and walked out. And I said, well, could I use the lyrics? I mean, use Grazing in the Grass? They said, sure. Bang! I turned around, went right back in there, and then we recorded using Grazing in the Grass.
Mm-hmm.
And the song was written by a South African player named Philemon Howe.
Mm-hmm.
And Philemon was, I had never heard of Philemon. Grazing in the Grass was a filler. They had 9 or 10 records, 10 songs. And they said, hey, man, you got 4 minutes, 3-4 minutes. You got to put something. What you gonna use? And they used Grazing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can show you how stuff can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so hey, man, and I still didn't know the magnitude. And I think it was good. It was good because we were kind of green to a degree,
Mm-hmm.
and egos didn't get in the way. I think because things happen so quick.
Mm-hmm.
See, people don't realize we like started rehearsing in June. We was on the road in December. 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and we ain't done nothing,
Mm-hmm.
So and I learned a lesson. You can you can wish for this and wish for that, but when you get it, you got to be ready.
That's right. That's right.
Jim's company was called the BBC, Brown, Block, and Covey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Paul Block, that might ring a bell with you.
Paul Block.
And they were with Rogers, Cowan, and Brenner.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brenner left, and it was Rogers and Cowan.
Rogers and Cowan, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was one of our managers.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever, TV and stuff like that, he handled that stuff. Paul died about 4 years ago. I hadn't seen him, but he was a nice man.
Mm-hmm.
But see, like I said, we was blessed, man. We ain't paid near dues.
Near dues, huh?
And then the thing is, people would think they would think that we were fighting with the Fifth, but those were my boys.
Mm-hmm.
We broke bread together,
Mm-hmm.
drank wine, and and so right now people know
Mm-hmm.
that we cool. We cool like that.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. So, Gerald, this is the question I've always wanted to ask you. I still have Blue's number in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
But you being the survivor, everything's on Gerald, lead singer, great voice. But how does it feel? Just being you now with new guys.
It has gotten better, but for I would say about the first 6 months, and even sometime now, I look down the other end of the stage when I'm on stage, and I miss Blue. I see him standing there, or hearing him. He would always have something to say, and dressing room. But it took a minute. It was pretty rough. Even though Kenny and Sonny didn't come back when we were united, they were still my brothers. And so when they passed, it like all three of them passing so close together, it just took everything. And it took me a minute to get adjusted. And fortunately, having my wife there talking to me and being there supporting me, and my friends that I had that were close, that I have that are close, were talking to me. And I got through it, you know, and I knew, excuse me, I knew one thing that, and Blue had told me about continuing the legacy and carry. He's passing the torch, and I couldn't give up. And so we started auditioning people. Fortunately, Troy had come in before, and then, and Dave. But after Blue passed, then I had to audition for a bass singer, and not realizing that Troy was there all the time. And but it was rough trying to pull it together. And some nights on stage I would get so full singing certain songs that it was hard to sing and perform. But by the grace of God, I just kept persevering, and knowing what Blue would say in my mind, you know, keep going, you know, you can't give up. You got to carry the legacy. And but it took me a minute. It took me a minute.
Yeah, I was worried about you,
Yeah.
and when that happened, because I was like, oof. I know that people can recover, but can he recover from this? You know?
Yeah.
Especially when you work with somebody such a long time on stage.
Yeah.
And you travel together. And that's when you know people. When you start traveling
Right.
together, you start knowing people when you
Right.
travel together. And, you know, in hotels and parties and in business deals and whatnot, you start to become as one, so to speak.
Yeah. I spent my life with them, young adult life.
That's
I
right.
came to the group and I was 19. And everything that I learned on the road, about the business, about performing, I got from them. You know, and I remember the main thing that I was told, that nobody had a big head. That wasn't going to work in this group. But I never thought that I was any better than anybody else. I fell into the group like I was been there all the time. But and that, I think that's another reason that made it so hard. It was very hard. I went through a lot of emotional feelings, changes.
Harry, you're the only one left, right?
Barbara Love.
Barbara, you and Barbara. How did the passing of the other two affect you?
Well, I was telling my man here, Floyd was sitting we were sitting next to each other, and he fell over, and I caught him. And I was in with Lamont up on the hill, and Duck, I don't know if you knew Lamont's brother, his name was Duck, and say, hey, y'all, come and help me, And then pumping his chest and stuff. And he was like in the middle of the floor. And I didn't know. I'd been playing baseball that day, and I had on my uniform and stuff. And then I remember the fireman brother. He was coming down the driveway. What happened? I didn't know what to say. He said, "Was y'all doing drugs?" You know, I didn't know what to say. You know, and Floyd was not breathing, and they're pumping him and stuff like that. That's why I can understand where you're coming from. You did, and but you had to do it 9, 10 times, all them songs you sang. And because they asked me now, Harry, how come you never sang circles? I said, I couldn't hang. I know I couldn't hang. You did. Now the cat that sings circles now, he does a good job. And then Gino Henderson. He's a guitar player. He used to play with the Pointer Sisters a long time, and Marilyn and Billy. But he sang the heck out of circles. So all I had to do was worry about grazing, you know. And some of the songs that Floyd sang is like you that lady was reading off that list. This happened to us in the Philippines, and I said, we don't do that. We don't. We had to learn them. We had to learn those songs, and when we got to the Philippines, we do pretty good over there. They like us over there, and they can sing too.
Oh yeah,
they be throwing down, and the band. Man, if you ever get a chance to listen to that, you listen to that. The boys was bad.
Well, they study us. They study us, just like the Brits studied us. Also.
Japanese, Korean.
They study us. Everybody studies us.
But anyway, hey, God's been so good. It was like I was thinking we were doing this thing over Ray's studio, and they said, "Well, Harry, how did this happen and this happen?" And I'm thinking, you know, everything that I envisioned kind of happened, and I didn't realize it. Number one, my favorite female singer was Sarah Vaughan.
Yes, sassy. Newark, New Jersey.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Newark, New Jersey.
Who do I do a show with?
Sassy.
Sarah Vaughan. With the Al Hurt.
Al Hurt.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Al Hurt. B.B. King was on that show.
Oh boy.
I think a couple other cats, and we did that, and I'm spacing. Go to Gerald.
But you said Al Hurt in the
okay, there we go. There we go. So did the thing with Sarah, and I'm fascinated, you know. And then another person that I wanted to, I never dreamt, Sammy Davis Jr. Okay. One day we were living up on the hill, Lamont. I said, "Hey man, I got a show. You want to come shoot it? Who is it, man?" I said, "It's with Sammy Davis." What? He did. So he came and shot the show, and I didn't meet Sammy. We got some pictures, but I never met him. And that was my second idol, you know, that I got a chance to work with. And then of course Mr. Ray Charles. I should see when he would come to San Diego, I mean Ray Charles, Jane Brown, and then 50 years later I'm singing, oh man. You know, so and just in terms of you know, people falling by the wayside, like you know, when you said three of your brothers, God, and see that's Jessica. Floyd died in 1990. Okay, Jessica died in 2014, and I had seen her, but she had lost so much weight and stuff, and she was real tight with Billy Osborne. Billy, you know Billy LTD, Jeffrey's brother.
Yeah.
And Billy was our MD, and as a matter of fact, 3 of them left and formed LTD. You did so. But anyway, I was blessed, and I think about it now, you know, and I was, you know, my health, pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it was cool.
So after Jessica left you guys, she went with Earth, Wind & Fire,
Earth, Wind
right?
& Fire, yep.
She did a little stint with Earth, Wind & Fire.
Yep.
And
then George Clinton.
And George Clinton.
Yep.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
And then Jessica was also in a group called Creative Source.
Yes.
Can't Hide Love.
Yeah. Who is he and what is he to you?
No, that's Bill Withers.
No, that's Creative Source did that too.
Really?
Yeah, Creative Source did that. Who is he and what is he to you?
Okay.
Doon.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
But it's the same song, right?
Same song.
Okay,
Same
okay.
song. Same song. So it was Creative Source did that, and it was all good.
Wow.
It was all good. It was all good. I want to get back to you. Yes, sir.
Okay, you just speaking of LTD,
Right.
the songs that we recorded at Total Experience,
Right.
all were played by LTD.
The band.
Yep, that's where I first met Jeffrey.
Okay.
He was playing congas.
This is in the 70s.
This was in when did we do this album? 78, right?
Jeffrey. Yeah. Okay. Jeffrey. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Jeffrey was playing percussion, and he was a singer.
Yeah.
And Billy played drums and
And
keyboards.
his brothers playing drums and keyboards. Okay.
And also, let me
LTD.
just correct something here.
Yes.
I got the albums mixed up. This was Jack Faith, Bert Dicato.
Bert Dicato
Yep. And
Jack Faith.
Jack Faith and Bert Dicato, I think, did this.
Okay.
Yeah. They were the ones that did the arrangements.
Okay.
Bert Dicato, is that the guy, main ingredient?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm just
Bert.
hitting the
Okay.
microphone,
Okay.
making a lot of
Yeah.
noise.
He was around.
Yeah.
He did. He
Wow.
was making it
Yeah.
happen around.
Yeah.
Gerald, I want to go back and talk about Sam Cooke
Mm-hmm.
and the influence of Sam Cooke. Of course, you know the family.
Yeah.
Wow. But talk about Sam for a minute. For
Well-
what he meant to you.
Sam, he was truly my mentor. My father was my mentor, but Sam was my mentor as well. I could put him and my dad one-on-one, you know. And what made me fall in love with Sam Cooke was that he was a person, I call him a people's singer.
Yes.
He sang songs that everybody could understand. His diction and his feeling and his emotion. And then growing up, I realized that my uncle used to travel with the Soul Stirrers. He was, my Uncle Johnny Fields, he was one of the founding members of the Five Blind Boys of Alabama. And Sam Cooke used to, when they would tour with the Soul Stirrers, Sam Cooke would ride with them and read them stories. And he said, in his mind, he could picture in his own way the stories that Sam Cooke were reading them. That's how good he was with his reading and diction and explaining stories. And Sam was he just caught me with his vocals, his runs, and his emotion on stage. And I used to say, that's who I want
Wow.
to sing like. And as I got older, I was able to, from my father teaching me to sing from my heart, to sing who I was, be me. I was able to incorporate Sam Cooke within that, and it wasn't hard because Sam sang from his heart. He expressed himself very well, and you would always think that Sam was singing to you. When I did, when I would hear his songs, I always felt like he was singing to me, and I never got a chance to meet him. And then back in 2008, I did a CD, Gerald Alston Sing Sam Cooke,
I remember
featuring Gerald Albright.
that.
And the notes that were on the album, LC did, his brother. And I remember playing the whole CD for LC, and he just sat there amazed. He said, he said, I've heard a lot of people cover my brother's songs, but they tried to sound like him. He said, you did a real tribute. You made it yours. You know, you made it what you feel and how you interpreted his singing. And I always remember that. And to this day, that CD is still selling.
Yeah. The family did. We loved what you had done. Because I was married to the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to the Sam Cooke thing.
Okay.
And you talked about what happened in In Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2000, November. It was, I remember that date, November 5th, 2005. We did 2 days. And I had a chance to sing with, the greatest, Miss Aretha Franklin. We did a finale. But at any rate, it was I get back to that. We did this Music Master honoring Sam Cooke. And Soul Stirrers, the Dixie Hummingbirds, the Manhattans, Whitney's mother, oh God, Sissy Houston, Elvis Costello. It was a whole lot of us. And we had a chance, that was a chance that I had to really honor him. And I wanted to do A Change Is Gonna Come. Solomon Burke was also on there. And I just knew I could sing it.
Yes.
And that night, Solomon Burke sang Change Is Gonna Come, I said, oh my God, did they get the right guy? He killed it. He killed it. And at the end of it, Aretha, we started, that was the last song on the show, and we started singing, tagging each other in a finale. And I was standing next to Aretha, and it was awesome. We were back and forth, and it was a wonderful thing. It was an honor to sing it, to be a part of honoring Sam Cooke. That was the highlight, because I'd idoled him, and he was my mentor. That was the highlight, one of the highlights in my career. Lou Rawls was there.
You'll never find.
Yes. And what I think I got a kick out of the whole thing, honoring him, we were singing Were You There When They Crucified the Lord. That was the song that I was singing. And we had rehearsed it. And I happened to look over in the wings, and that was Aretha Franklin standing there looking like, she came out like, who's singing this song? And you could tell she was it really excited her. She really liked what she was hearing. And I remember after singing it, she said, you got to have those guys come by and take a picture with me. And I got a picture today of us in our dressing room. But it was an honor, to be on the stage with Lou Rawls, Aretha Franklin, Sissy Houston, Solomon Burke, the Dixie Hummingbirds, the Pilgrim
The Pilgrim Travelers.
Right.
Pilgrim Travelers.
And Wilson, what was his name? Oh God, he was on the show. Oh God, it was a lot of us. And we all in our own way paid tribute to Sam Cooke. And to me, that was one of the highlights in my career, because I had a chance to pay tribute to my mentor.
Wow.
With his song live.
Harry, who were your mentors in terms of singers?
Jesse Belvin.
Yeah.
My brother could sing. He put out this record called Hey Senorita back in the day. He had a group called the Gay Niners. And when Jesse Belvin would come to San Diego, him and my brother, they would screen off, singing to each other. It was cool. It was so cool. And now you're speaking of Sam Cooke. See, the hi-fis, we used to sing around L.A., jazz and stuff. So 2 days before he died, I was in the dressing room with Sam. And we used to sing with Nancy Wilson. Nancy wanted to be our manager, and I didn't know this. And so one time she said, well, you guys, after the show, come by my house. Midtown shopping center down there. And we said, yeah, okay, Miss Nancy. And we got there, she wanted to manage us. And we had to turn her down because we was going with Ray Charles. And she was a little huffy. and then a few months later, Who did I do the show with?
Nancy
Nancy
Wilson.
and Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
And but she didn't say nothing, and I didn't say nothing. I don't know if you remember or what, but she was hot because I saw her at what Peachtree Manor was in Atlanta at hotel,
Oh, yeah, Peachtree.
and she kind of stuck her nose up. I said, "Oh man, she know who I am," but she never heard another word. But she wanted to be our manager, all those people, Lou Rawls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I remember when Les McCann, Lou Rawls, the It Club.
The It Club.
It Club, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We played the It Club. What's the cat's name? Is Johnny somebody's It Club.
I can't remember.
McLean.
Johnny McLean.
John T. McLean. It's It Club.
John T.
Yeah,
John T. McLean.
Yep, yeah.
John, you don't know John.
No.
About John. John T. is a legend here in Los Angeles.
But Ray and Jesse Belvin, and then I was kind of my idols in vocal groups was the Four Freshmen.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, man, Ross Barber.
Oh, freshman.
Ross Barber.
The Harmonies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And one time we were somewhere down south or something, and they were playing, and I got a chance to go see them.
Mm-hmm.
And I introduced myself, Mr. Ross Barber.
Mm-hmm. The Four Freshmen.
Yep, Four Freshmen.
Okay. All right. Any female?
Etta James,
Mm-hmm.
of course, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And one time, now remember I told you we didn't pay no dues.
Mm-hmm.
So we our first gig was at the Greek Theater, 6 nights with Tom Jones. Okay, I didn't.
Mr.
Tom
Not
who?
Unusual.
Yeah, I'm saying Tom who, and it was like we were going to L.A. City College, and there was a hamburger stand across the street. So we walked out of the class, and here our names on the hamburger stand. Welcome, friends with distinction. What the hell is this? We played at the Greek and didn't even know it.
Wow.
That was something, man.
Yeah.
So
With Tom Jones, opening up for Tom Jones
Opening
for
up for
6
Tom.
nights.
Wow.
Yep.
Boy.
Tom was hot.
Yes,
Tom
he
was-
was.
hey.
Yeah, he was getting all the sisters.
Yes, Lord.
He was getting all the sisters. And still can blow.
Oh yeah.
Still can blow.
Yeah.
Still can blow. Any female singers for you, Gerald?
Yes.
Besides Aretha and Gladys Knight.
Okay. Those are the top. Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, let me see who else. Patti LaBelle.
Okay.
And we toured with Patti.
Mm-hmm. I remember those tours.
Mm-hmm.
Patti had a range. She has a range. And I heard Blue say it many times before I worked with her.
Mm-hmm.
I really started working with her. That her musicians were so good that she, like, you might have a song that she sings in a certain key,
Mm-hmm.
but if she feel it in another key,
Mm-hmm.
she'd go up and start singing it, and the band would pick it right up and play it.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, Patti was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
She was very nice. But I think my idols, the ones that I really, really like, was Gladys Knight. She touched me. Gladys was she sang with the same thing that feeling that I have.
Mm-hmm.
She still sing with that feeling that I have.
Mm-hmm. That's why I always said the duet would be perfect for you guys.
Yeah.
Gerald Alston and Gladys Knight
I would
duet
have loved that. Yes.
would be perfect.
Yeah. And but she and Aretha Franklin are the two I would have to say, and Patti. I would say those three. And I've worked with, I had a chance to perform with all of them. Only once with Aretha. We had a few days with Aretha, and the tour got canceled because I think during that time Aretha didn't want to fly.
Yeah, she
Wouldn't fly,
No.
and a couple of the dates got canceled.
Yeah.
But I worked with Gladys, and it was. Oh my God, it was awesome. And Patti, they just amazed me when I performed.
Was
with them.
Bubba there?
Yeah, And Stephanie Mills.
Stephanie, okay.
Yeah, Stephanie is.
Miss Stephanie.
Stephanie's no joke.
Now, I did the last tour. Well, I did a tour with Whitney, European tour in '92. And she was awesome every night. And I remembered we were at the Wembley, and her mother came out, got a standing ovation just for coming out, and she started singing. She let her mother, and when Sissy finished, Whitney was like, "Well, now what you want me to do?" You know, she just sang a piece of a song. She didn't really, but it amazed me. And what I loved about Whitney, Tyler Perry said at a service, Whitney was the person that you never felt like you met for the first time. You felt like you knew her all the time, and she was a praying lady.
Yeah,
Whitney was a praying lady, and she, from day one on that tour, I spent 45 days with her.
Wow.
It was like there was no diva, no nothing. She would,
she's an EO girl.
Yeah.
East Orange girl.
And I remember we would be eating in the dining area. She'd come down and talk to everybody. I went to her room and talked to her. And also I had prayer with them. They used to have a prayer service before each show. Kurt Whalum used to do, but sometimes he would do it and then she would do it. But I was there every night, you know, and she was just an awesome person.
Yeah, people don't, I mean, we grew up around each other, because I mean, I was older than her, but her son, you know, her brothers, Gary and Michael, we all grew up around the same spot with Dion in East Orange and everybody else. Well, you know, East Orange and Newark and everybody else.
Right.
Everybody grew up around each other. But what a beautiful talent, and what a missed talent also.
Yes.
I miss Whitney a lot.
Yes.
I think about her. I think about all three of them. I think about Michael, Whitney, and Prince dying so young. And the stresses of this business, which is what I wanted to talk to you guys about, the stresses of this business and what it does to us and what it has done to you. Harry, how did you handle the stress and the madness of the business?
Well, I was the dope head, and I catered to that. And we smoked a lot. We smoked a lot of weed, and we used to have meetings. But before the meeting, we would smoke angel dust and record it. I never found a tape. I wanted to find it, but then Jim was there. Jim would take Jim Brown would take some of the stress off of us, and then when we get into fights, I had a fight and a half with Jim, and but he took some stress off, you know. But see, we was kind of cocky too, and thuggish from San Diego, and Jim.
Did you box?
Huh?
Did you box?
No. I lived down the street from Archie Moore.
Okay. Well, he boxed.
He did.
He boxed.
But Floyd and I, we took pressure off of each other, you know. And the girls, they did their own little thing. And then again, things happen so quickly, man. And you had to be ready. Hey man, the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yes.
Bubba Knight. We was talking the other day, and Bubba said the choreography came up. Bubba said, "Y'all didn't have no choreography." I said, "How you know?" And we didn't. You know, because the pimps could get down.
Oh, couldn't they?
Yes. Pimps, Four Tops, Temptations.
Yep.
They were not playing, especially Temps.
Hey.
Temps don't play.
Charlie Atkins.
They will cut you with their shoes. Yes.
And then when we were working together, the Gap Band would come on. I didn't know they did circles.
Yes, Charlie.
Charlie did his hell of a job. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And the guy that was singing, you know, that it wasn't his style, but hey, I couldn't sing it. But like the cat Gino, Gino does not. Yeah, he tore it up anyway. But those were my little, tidbits.
What about stress for you, Gerald?
Well, when I joined the group in 1970, it was fun to me at first, but when we started playing the Chitlin circuit, oh my God,
Okay.
that was stress. We played. I remember playing in a guy's living room. He had a house next door. He had built a new house, and we played in Waycross, Georgia. And he had chickens and hogs, and I'll never forget a big, like 300-pound hog laying up under the porch, and we sang in the kitchen. We sang in the living room, and they were cooking fish and chicken in the kitchen, but that place was jam packed.
Like a juke joint.
Yeah, and we played many of them. But and it was stressful because we used to leave home and on a Monday, or we leave for a weekend and stay out 3 weeks on the road, going from place to place. And and I got into the drinking and the coke, and but it was only through God's grace that we survived. I think it was, and when I look back at that stress that had me doing that, and I'm going to say this with understanding for all people to know, God put our lives are already set when we're born from God. We make the choice to do bad things, but if we have our faith in God, He always brings us through, and He brought me through that. I have no regrets because I stopped, and that was a part of my stress. I stopped, and I had my wife and my father, and thank God, prayer to God, and it was all because of the business, because it was hard to sing 6 nights out of the week, and I'm singing every song.
Damn.
And singing it hard.
Yeah, and you travel on Sunday, or some days we were going from city to city overnight, and you see the promoter walk out with the money, and or come to you and say, "Oh, we didn't make no money," so we were out there, and so that was the kind of stress that we dealt with. But one thing in our circle that we always kept God first.
Okay.
We always kept God first. And that is why today I'm thankful that we didn't shoot up to the top and have it all, because I may not be here.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay. But the road that we took did this.
It was a slow burn.
Yes. And I really appreciate that.
Sure.
I've seen artists come up and go back the same way they came up, shoot past us, and all of a sudden they're not there anymore.
That's right.
But the stress was rough, but we had each other. And I think that thing that got us through is that if one of us had it, all of us had it.
Right.
And our prayers. And then, like I said, when I met my wife, she brought a whole different thing to my life. And it opened my eyes to see that I had a talent, that, if I kept down that road, it would be over. And that's why I can say I'm thankful today that back then that I didn't have the hits like we made later on, because, or become a superstar, because I wouldn't be here.
Right.
But God is good. And the stress, now I use the stress and the problems that I went through as a stepping stone to where I am today.
Right.
Because I can appreciate everything that I have, everything that I've made over the years, the successes that we've had. They were building blocks, and believe me, race, we got another thing that was stressful. I remember we played Nashville, Tennessee at a club called The Jail. And Blue used to always say, we're going to have a party at the Holiday Inn. And he would give room number 222. Nobody was in 222. But it was a big club, and it was one of the first integrated clubs. And so we were staying at a place called the Matador. And when Bob brought us back, our promotion person, after the show, took us back to the hotel. He said, well, why are all these police officers out here? And they walk around with shotguns laying across their shoulders. And so Bob, it was a vice squad. And we pulled up. So Bob said, officer, what seemed to be the problem? He, just like this, he said, nigga, are you staying here? Bob said, no, I'm not staying here. He said, well, you drop those niggas off and you get the hell off the property.
Wow.
They locked the door. They told us we couldn't leave our rooms. We were in a house arrest for that night. We could not come out of our room. And then one of at that time, our road manager, he drove up in the car with 2 white women.
Oh, my God. Oh, my.
And the police, and they told him, you and those bees get off the property. Instead of him leaving, he drives around to the front and asks the lady, he misplaced his key, needed a key. And just as he was asking her, that same detective walked in. He said, didn't I tell you, you and those bees to get off here, bitches, to leave? And when he turned around to face the police officer, when he turned back around, she had a gun. The desk clerk put a gun in his face. And she said, leave now.
Damn.
He had to go stay with those 2 ladies, not knowing them from Adam. He had no place else to go. And we stayed locked up. They locked up. They cut our phones. We couldn't make no calls out. And that was one stressful night because I thought it was over for us. And we wrote letters to the hotel, the office of the hotel chain. Never got a response. We wrote to the Chamber of Commerce. I'll never forget, our lawyers wrote everybody. Never heard anything else.
Welcome to America.
Yeah.
Welcome to America. I got 2 more questions for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to name 2 names and just tell me what you guys think. Frankie Crocker, Teddy Powell. And those names ring with you? Ring a bell?
Frankie Crocker. I don't know Teddy Powell.
Okay. Teddy Powell was a promoter back east.
I kind of...
When you guys came into town, he was probably the promoter that you guys used at Symphony Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Sometime in Harlem also. The Apollo Theater sometime. Other people did some stuff at the Apollo, but just Frankie Crocker, does that name ring a bell for you, sir?
Yeah, Frankie, yeah. G2 Alexander?
G. Keith Alexander.
Did I say it right?
G. Keith Alexander.
G. Keith, that's my boy. And Frankie used to come to the house. You dig? I didn't know he was kind of standoffish. He was cool. And we was cool, so you know how that shit goes. But then he got sick, and man, then he was out.
Yeah.
But the other guy, Powell, I've heard that name.
Teddy Powell.
Teddy Powell, yeah.
Concert promoter.
Yeah.
Gerald knew who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Gerald, can you speak about one of those 2 people? Those 2 people?
Both. Frankie, when we released There's No Me Without You, that album, Frankie had chose Wish You Were Mine. We had chose Wish You Were Mine to be the second single. They went someplace else. And Frankie was ticked off at Columbia Records for a long time because he was playing it. And I knew it would have been a hit because just like back then, if Frankie, what's his name, Georgie Woods.
That's right. Georgie in Philadelphia.
What's his name in Chicago?
Right. Herb Kent.
Yep. If all of them had said it was a hit, it was played.
Right.
Now, and I remember that about him, and I remember he invited me to an event he had just before he passed. And I went there and I sung, and a few weeks later he passed away.
Right.
Teddy Powell was the promoter on my very first show with the Manhattans.
Wow.
It was in Richmond, Virginia,
Yeah, that's about right.
at the mosque.
Mhm.
And we had a terrible, oh my God. That day, anything and everything that could have went wrong, went wrong.
Mhm.
We had, I think, 2 flat tires. We only were driving from New York, from Jersey
Mhm.
to Richmond.
Mhm.
It took us over 12 hours. So we had like a couple of flats. Then we had our costumes and luggage on top of the van in a rack.
Mhm.
The rack broke, all the clothes full.
Oh my God.
So Walter jumps out and runs back down the turnpike. In the meantime, the car pulls up. The guy saw it, put our bags on the hood of his car, and slowly drove up and gave them to us. So we had to wait for Walter to come back. So when we got to the mosque, Teddy Powell said, "Home,
Yeah, that's him.
you're late. I'm not paying you, and you're not going on."
Oh my God.
And we had been on the highway all day. And the savior was the Dells.
The Dell.
The Dells. Marvin Jr. said
Yeah,
the
John.
place was packed.
Mm.
It was the Dells, the Manhattans, Patti LaBelle, and the Bluebells, Brendan and Tabulations, Kool and the Gang,
Wow.
Willie Feast and the Mighty Magnificents. And he said, and the Dells were headlining the show.
Mm-hmm.
The Dells, and we got in, the Dells were just getting ready to walk on stage.
Wow.
And Marvin Jr. said, if they don't go on, we don't go on.
Mm.
And the place was packed. He said, and you better not cut that money.
Mm.
Teddy Powell paid us. We went on stage. And after then, we had no problems with Teddy Powell working with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that so vividly that Marvin Jr. said that all the hell they've been through trying to get here, you know, it wasn't their fault,
Mm-hmm.
per se. He said, but if you don't let them go on and don't pay them their money, we're not going on. And the place was jam-packed.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Dells hadn't gone on, Richmond would never be the same.
I know that's right.
And but that was my first experience with Teddy Powell. And after then, we worked with him. Underwood used to work with him.
Mm.
He used to work with Millie,
Mm.
Eugene Underwood. And but Teddy's main word was home.
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 You got 10 minutes home.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Oh God, used to at the Apollo. Sad Sam.
Sad Sam.
Was
Sandman?
Sad Sam.
Oh, Sad Sam.
Sad Sam
Okay.
was the MC for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys play the Apollo?
One time.
One time.
Yeah. And that's where I met Aretha. And you know, the elevator's slow going up.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this
Yeah.
WW with me.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what WW is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And this girl that I had messed around with, she was working there.
Mhm.
And we get on this slow ass elevator,
Ooh.
and she started cussing me out. You with them white bitches. And the elevator's going 2 miles. And I can't wait to get to the top. She did.
Boy.
She wore me out. Oh my gosh.
That was a slow elevator.
Yes. A slow burn.
Yep.
Slow burn.
And then one time, Aretha must have been 18, 19. She's Marilyn's age or something. And we were opening for Ray, and Aretha was on the show. And they cars came in. Damn, they looked tired, and Aretha had forgotten her shoes, and Marilyn had to loan her, shoes to wear on stage. That's my first, meeting with Aretha. But and again, man, we I can remember paying dues, the chitlins thing you're talking about, one time, and we was blessed,
Yeah, you were. You were blessed not to play the Chitlin. 'Cause
Yeah.
we played from the Chitlin circuit from, I would say, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi,
Wow.
Texas. We would drive
That's right.
and played
That's right.
all of those
Oh my
places.
gosh.
In New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we would play all those places for and little small clubs, and we would only get, sometimes they'll pay hotel and give us $500,
Are you serious?
$600, and we'll be out there from Monday or from Thursday to the following Thursday, you know, and we families at home. When you get home after you work 10 days out on the road or 3 weeks, and you come home with $200 in your pocket.
Oh my God.
Somebody got some explaining to do.
Yes.
Yes.
And but in 1976, when Kiss and Say Goodbye, I have to it showed where it paid off. Because all those chitlin places we played, Cordell, Georgia, Tallahassee, Florida, Valdosta, Georgia, all of those little places, we played Atlanta, Georgia with James Brown. And we had busloads of people and that came up from Tallahassee, from Macon, all those surrounding areas came up just to see us.
Wow.
I'll never forget
So it paid off.
It paid off. And then when we would play in those areas, we started playing the big venues, the concert venues. It really showed. They came, and we would always be humble, sign autographs, shake their hands, go to radio station to let them know we were in town, and venues were sold out. So the chitlin circuit was stressful and bad in one sense, but it paid off for our success. And those people that are alive or that are still around today remember us from that.
Last question, gentlemen. Harry, what's going on with you today, in the present, musically, physically? What's going on with you? Musically, also.
Musically, I'm retired in 2016. We're doing a book called "Can You Dig It?" And then I'm looking. I see so many people using that slogan. Can you dig it? I ain't made a dime. You dig? And because it's kind of hard to say who came out first. You know, it was in Shaft. Undisputed Truth did something. But anyway, we're writing this book, and I got Parkinson's, and I'm dealing with that. It's a situation where it's like you go to a space. It doesn't happen all the time, but mentally, you go to a space and you have no control. You just feel like you're just floating. And so you take your meds, and it kind of brings you back, you know. But I didn't know what the hell it was. And there's also another disease called NHK, where they tap the liquids in your brain and drain them out, and people get that mixed up with Parkinson. You know, but hey, man, I'm blessed. I feel you. I'm blessed. I got a wife of 26 years, and we cool.
Good.
I got $2 the other week from that commercial.
You got $2 the other week from the commercial.
Well, it was a little better than that.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
deal.
blessed.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And Gerald,
Well,
I forgot to talk about slow motion.
oh my God, Stan Shepard.
That's my cut right there.
Yes.
Your solo career was just.
It was very good, but I think my solo career was caught in the middle of the music changing.
That's right.
With hip hop and R&B. I think I was in one of the last of the true R&B singers into the hip hop era.
Okay.
And though Slow Motion was a great song.
Yeah, it was.
It was a great song.
It is a great song.
That album, my debut album,
Right.
the album with Slow Motion, I was getting, I think I had 10 songs on, 7 were being played nationally.
Wow.
And but Motown lost it. They lost it.
Yeah.
You know. But and it's still a blessing to me because I can still do it now. God has blessed me with that.
Okay.
You know, we still performing. We're going to Brazil in July. We're going to Jamaica. We're going to Canada. And plus, we're still touring. Like I told you, we're doing the LA County Fair. We've been doing it off and on for the past 5 or 6 years. You know, and we're blessed to keep touring and keep working. The venues have changed naturally.
Sure.
Are not the big concerts as like we used to be doing, but we are playing proscenium theaters and smaller venues and amphitheaters, and we still have our fans that come out and support us. You know, like this podcast. We have the online radio series. You know, so we still getting to play.
Good.
And the fans are seeing us, and the young people. There are young people are beginning to come over to our side and listen to our music. And also my son, my baby son, not a baby now, 31 this year, he's singing. And he's opening up for us at the Birchmere in Richmond, Alexandria. And he's working for, he has a little record out, and he's opening up for us in Atlantic City at the Gardener's Basin. So, and we're promoting him, and it's time to kind of pass it on a little bit.
Yeah.
I will never stop singing, but I know the time will come when it gets slower, you know. But I can pick and choose,
Okay.
you know, and that's what I'm going to do until the Lord said it's time to stop.
Right.
My health is pretty good, you know, so.
Good deal. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed musical history, American history, African American history here today. It's not. It's a very rare occasion where we're able to get these quality gentlemen who have done such a wonderful job as musicians and singers with their groups, Friends in Distinction with Harry, and with Gerald the Manhattans, two groups that put a stamp on American music and the world. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
And
having me.
good
Pleasure.
to see you guys again.
All right.
And hopefully, the youngsters who are watching this will do some research. And for those, the older folks, you'll break out some of these CDs and albums that you have of Friends of Distinction and the Manhattans and go back and groove with them again. Until next time, God bless and thank you for watching.